Wow, so Congress and AARO have both been briefed on Area 51 from at least one Area 51 insider who worked there for years. This is amazing. It also really paints Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick in a bad light because it turns out that UFO whistleblowers don't trust him. So let's dig into this a little bit. This is pretty juicy. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like. Please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this story comes from James Fox, who has a really interesting insider that he's been dealing with, and he's actually seen pictures of this guy testifying to Congress. So it's not just some guy that's making stuff up and pretending to be somebody that he's not. Really good stuff. So let's just cut right to it. This is from a recent interview with James, famous documentary filmmaker James Fox, who made Moment of Contact and The Phenomenon, as well as Out of the Blue, which was a really foundational movie for me personally when I first saw it, as far as coming to the understanding of the reality of the phenomenon. So anyway, let's see what James has to say. Here goes.
AARO, it's the new U.A.P. task force run by a guy named Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who they feel is cooperating too much with the intelligence agencies in terms of information going in and never seeing the light of day. Now, this individual, as a sort of precautionary measure, wants to, as far as he can, inform the general public what's going on behind the scenes, what's his involvement, what he knows, without violating his NDA. So we carefully put this together, and I'm going to read it to you.
You say we.
I did it with him.
Okay, and it's typed out like who drafted it.
He drafted it, and then I went over it with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. This is pretty juicy. I mean, this is about as juicy. This is pretty juicy. Hello, James. Just wanted to give you a quick shot of the involvement I've had with UAPs. I was introduced to a program while I was in the Air Force that involved Area 51 activities and did that for 2 to 3 years. My job involved going to a lot of different locations and hearing discussions from a lot of people that are working on very extraordinary technologies and material. Jumping forward to October of last year, I had already been interviewed by the U.A.P. task force to testify in 2022 with the Senate and the House, who were passing the new NDAA legislation at the time. I saw all the photographs of this individual behind the scenes. I provided them the context of my job and what I had experienced in an effort to give Congress more clarity on the program, which has been particularly difficult to get insight into. After my testimony, I was again asked to speak to the new AARO organization. So earlier this year, I interviewed at the AARO office to help them in their study of unidentified aerial phenomena. It's been an extraordinary road for me, to say the least. And I'm doing what I can to help get this out. I will be straightforward that the technologies we have discovered will probably have to stay under classified programs due to national security. But I believe it's time for us all to know that we're not alone. This has been my whole purpose for becoming involved. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's way too much for a lot of folks to take in right now. I'll do my best to guide any discussions between the powers that are behind all of this, and hopefully my friends who are still in the program will hear this and consider separating the technologies from the contact. I wish you all well, and I hope I'll have an opportunity to open up the discussion of what this is all about very soon.
Ordinarily, in a vacuum, one would say this person is delusional. They think they have clearance, which they don't. They think they're in the government.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not to be mean. That's always the knee-jerk reaction. But then you're looking at.
But let me take it a little further. Now, I know this individual. This individual was introduced to me by other intelligence folks that I've been working with for some time. I know that he testified. I saw the photographs of him and the intel folks with the senators. I've seen this personally. I will vouch for that.
Boom! There you go. Okay, so let's dissect that a little bit. First of all, it looks like people don't trust Sean Kirkpatrick. He is taking the juicy stuff and funneling it to the intelligence agencies, apparently. So what does that mean? Does that mean that that is the control group? Is that some other apparatus that is managing the situation on behalf of the government? What exactly is going on there? Is he working for the intelligence agencies, or is he his own actor working for AARO? You tell me what you think in the comments below. But obviously the juicy stuff is that Congress has been briefed on Area 51 by a guy that actually worked there, talking about exotic technologies that he can't even talk about, unfortunately. And it was very frustrating that he didn't seem to think that this stuff would ever see the light of day, that it would remain classified forever, which, of course, is what insiders have been saying forever. Really unfortunate, even the former director of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works said that we had technologies that could take ET home, but it was buried in black budget stuff and it would never see the light of day, which is insane and ridiculous and tragic for the entire human race. So they need to figure that situation out, and they need to be able to disclose this stuff as well as the technologies to the American people and the people of the world. They cannot use national security as an excuse. If we can go to the far reaches of space, then we need to be able to do that. And it looks like we might have that ability, because check this out. Okay, now this is juicy. Check this out. This is from U.F.O. Joe Murgia's Twitter thread. Here's retired Commander Will Miller, who Leslie Kean has called a true insider. I had a friend, a former military officer who worked with me. He was on track to be a NASA astronaut, and then he had that greatest misfortune of all misfortunes as a test pilot to have more takeoffs than landings. You always want those two numbers to equal out, and unfortunately he was in a couple of really bad crashes. No fault of his own, equipment failures. The last one nearly killed him. It also killed his chances of being an astronaut. But, as fate would have it, they gave him another high-level position, and that was to go out to the famous Groom Lake facility, Area 51, and he was out there for several years. As we all know, most folks that work out there have signed their lives away, never disclose what goes on, and for better or for worse, and this fellow was no different. And over the 3 years I worked with him, and he knew my interest in things extraterrestrial and my work with CSETI, never once did he mention any of his work out at Groom Lake or any association between that and anything extraterrestrial. And the day I was leaving the command, he took me aside and he said, "You know, Will, some of the folks you talk with, maybe some CSETI researchers, may see objects that are doing, Mach 9, and then suddenly make a right angle turn, and you say, well, gosh, that's got to be an extraterrestrial craft." And then he looked at me and he said, "But it's not." And then he just turned and walked away. That was Commander Will Miller, retired. Miller to Joe Murgia. Joe Murgia actually got to speak with him. Miller says, "It's my firm belief that yes, we, the Russians, probably the Germans, and perhaps the Chinese, have at least partial technologies pieces, and most likely for the U.S., entire operational craft. I believe we have our own transluminal velocity craft that can take us anywhere in space in time. Did we develop this technology independently? Probably not. Transluminal, faster than light vehicles that can also go anywhere in time. So these are time machines as well as faster than light vehicles. Now, obviously, some of the stuff going on out there is ET, and we didn't get this technology in a vacuum. So when you said that, these things that are going super fast, making right angle turns are not ET, He was obviously being a little hyperbolic there, because he clearly said, or at least Will said, that he believed that we did not arrive at this technology independently, and of course we did not. There have been so many whistleblowers coming forward to talk about crash retrievals, and even working on the retrieved crashes, and other people saying that we have been given intact craft, and yet more people talking about how the beings helped engineers and service people develop training devices so that servicemen could learn how to fly UFOs, our own UFOs. So very interesting stuff. We've got people coming forward talking about Area 51. We now know that AARO knows about this stuff and was briefed on this from somebody that worked there. And we know that Congress knows about this. So why were no interesting questions asked of Sean Kirkpatrick? If they didn't want to talk about the classified stuff, they could at least say as much as this gentleman did in the letter that James Fox read. Why didn't they? Why did Kirsten Gillibrand and Senator Ernst not press Sean Kirkpatrick for a little more clarity and a little more information? They seem to be deliberately misleading the American public, obfuscating the truth, and downplaying the UFO issue, which is what they have been doing forever. However, it was hoped by me and many that now that Congress was getting involved in this issue and taking it seriously for the first time ever, that we might actually get a little transparency and a little honest-to-God disclosure, which we fully deserve. So this is ridiculous. This is BS. Sean Kirkpatrick is lying. Kirsten Gillibrand and Senator Ernst are enabling him. This is ridiculous. We have fantastic technologies at our disposal that could benefit the entire human race, and they are being kept under wraps. And of course, it's more than technology. You get into the metaphysical stuff, and there's a serious metaphysical stuff here, as I've talked about many, many times. And it's not just me. People like Gary Nolan have been talking about that as well. So, this is a serious, foundational to our concept of reality sort of stuff. Things that could change people's thoughts about the nature of reality, mostly in a very good way. And, the idea that we have souls, that we go on, and that there's a very complicated cosmological situation out there. I don't pretend to know what that is. I have some vague idea of what some of it might be, but, who knows? And, so this is stuff that, and that's the point. I don't know. I don't trust anybody that say they know for sure, although some high-level experiencers do have more of a bird's eye view on this. But again, that's the point, is we don't know. We deserve to know. We deserve to know what reality we're living in, what technologies are at our disposal, what beings we are working with. Are we choosing the goodly beings? But by all the stories that have come out about, the Eisenhower stuff, we didn't choose the goodly beings to work with. We chose the beings that weren't that goodly. Sorry, Grays, but that's that is the perception that many have, and that many experiencers have unfortunately walked away with. Now there do seem to be some good Grays out there. I don't want to impugn the whole gray race or races, but that is the situation that we the public don't know if our government is indeed working with goodly beings or negative entities. And we don't want them working with the negative guys. We want them working with the positive guys. We want to work with the positive guys. So this stuff needs to come out. This needs to be transparent. The people need to be involved in this decision-making process. We deserve to know what technologies we have, what the nature of reality is, and who we are dealing with and what path we are on. This is ridiculous. This is insane. This is not right. It needs to be rectified. So let's rectify it, guys. Congress, you need to step up. Otherwise, we're going to have to just engage the phenomenon ourselves as individuals. The CE5/Protestant model, as I like to think of it, where we just, we skip the middleman, skip the authority structure, don't get our truth in our interaction with the beings through the government. Just go out and do it yourselves, but in a very safe and responsible way, because there are negative entities out there. And I want everybody to have good experiences and good interactions. And I think most of you do too. So anyway, with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video or gotten something out of it, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. There's links below. I would love it if you would join me there and share some of these videos when they do drop on social media. Check out some of my other videos. There's plenty of them. Other ways to support the channel. You could become a channel member. You could buy some of my books. I'm a novelist. Links below. Otherwise, guys, it's been a great day, and I will see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.